Adventures of the Super Sons, issue 10. Peter Gitomasi and Carlos Barberi, of course, is also there on the art. So I don't know. I did not read this because I didn't want to. Well, I kind of didn't want to, but it wasn't like oh my god, Super Sons. I don't want to read that. It was just like every time I've read an issue of that in the last like 6 months, it's always been like, it's a quiet week. I'll fit it in. And there was a few more books this week, so I just didn't get around to it.
No, that's fine.
How was it?
So yeah, so this one starts with the narration again, where we see the two older figures telling the story to the two younger kids, and it seems like it's Damien and John later in life, but they're reading from this book, and this is where I got the marshmallow from because I forgot that which one it happened in, but the kids are roasting marshmallows with heat vision, or one of them is. You assume it's the one that kind of looks like a young John. But they're like older guy that looks, it's probably older Damien, comes in and is like, you're telling the story wrong. Do you really want to ruin the surprise? Just tell him the story as it was. And he's like, well, how do you know? He's like, well, because I was there. Let me, I lived it. And he, proceeds to tell the rest of the story of what's happening with Rex Luthor and the hypercube and stuff. And from the last one, which I wasn't here for, so I don't know if you reviewed it.
I did, yeah. No, it was like
okay.
The weird Jonah Hex and the train.
Yeah. So they bring the train in to Rex's, to stop Rex's army, and they come through, and Damien's like, I'll get the cube, you distract Rex long enough. But as they jump from the train, it leaves the Jonah Hex android with the Green Lantern, who's Alex, I think, and Jonah Hex shoots the young Green Lantern, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do what I go back. I'm gonna go back to what I do best, and that's hunting bounties." So you're like, "Oh crap!" They just told him that he gets to make a choice, and his first choice is, "I'm gonna turn on all these guys." And it goes to John fighting Rex, and there's a Bizarro kid, or a kid Bizarro, that actually he likes having the powers, but he doesn't know how to speak Bizarro. And he starts yelling at Rex that this is stupid. I don't know why I have to keep doing this. So it added to some fun, but it looks pretty dire until here comes Alex with the Jonah Hex android. And it turns out that by shooting him, it kicked the emergency protocols in to the Green Lantern ring, to the training ring, and it allowed just enough energy to kind of save the day for them. And it ends up foiling Rex's plan of using the hyper cube to invade Earth. But in all of this action and them fighting the army, the Jonah Hex android gets destroyed. And so, of course, the Super Sons feel bad about it because it's Rex that, finally terminates the android. And turns out that the android made a call to his boss, to Tommy Tomorrow. And Joker Jr. is there with the two older Super Sons that we saw from the house, that weird house issue. And they're there to basically find out all what's going on, what Rex is doing, and stop him. So there's 2 issues left. It's coming to its end. But all the threads are cinching together. And again, it's a lot of fun. It's nothing like, if I wasn't already so deep, I would probably have stopped reading by now. But
no, it's a fun book. It feels very kind of just light and inconsequential.
Yeah. I mean, I like what he did with Jonah Hex with the robot. Like, you think like, oh, they taught him about free will in this last issue, and it looks like he just went rogue to do what he needed to do. But it turns out, oh no, it was all part of the plan. He knew about the Junior Green Lantern's whole thing, and that's what ended up saving them. But of course, they use all the energy to save the 2 Super Sons, and it's not there to get them back home. So that's right, Tommy Tomorrow and the older, so I'll call them super dudes, middle-aged guys, come into it. So, but yeah, it's you feel like Tomasi's having his own story here, and yeah, it cracks me up with the marshmallows. At the beginning, and the 2 old versions of them arguing with each other, talking to who I'm assuming is their grandkids. Maybe somehow they're related by now. But yeah. So Rating it, I'll give it like a 7. Again, it's nothing fantastic, but it's definitely readable.